Good morning, Wildcats. My name is Alex Minton.
And I'm Holly Pirdie, and this is your first Wildcat Report.
To celebrate the last few warm weeks of weather, the Millard varsity competition team is doing a partnership with Yozon on September 15th, and if you stop in there and say that you're supporting the squad, they'll donate 30% of their profits.
After years of playing tennis on cracked, flooded, unsafe courts, the desires of every Millard West tennis player have finally been realized with the construction of the school's brand new, pristine tennis courts.
Our tennis courts prior to this school year were in shambles. There were cracks that were 2 to 3 inches wide. The water would run over the courts and create unsafe playing conditions. And ultimately, the water on the courts, the large extensive cracks in the playing surface deemed them to be unsafe, and they needed to be replaced.
It's been a few years since the last resurfacing. They were really beautiful after the resurfacing, so we were really fortunate to have that, 5 or 6 years ago, but they very quickly cracked, through because, the problem was underneath, we believe.
With the new courts, I think we'll be able to focus more on what we want to do with our tennis game rather than focusing on how the courts are holding us back. New courts, they're green on green, and so it really gives a lot of school pride on our courts. And it has black fencing, which also goes with our school colors, and so I think they're just a great addition to the tennis team.
Although it was pretty clear that new courts were desperately needed, there was still a lot of work that went on behind the scenes to make the extensive project possible.
Just keeping the administration in the know about the court conditions after every season. It was in our year-end report, keeping the district involved as well, keeping them in the know so that they knew what the potential risk of having athletes out here with the cracks and the surface the way it was. Just keeping everybody in the know and talking it up in the community about when the bond issue came about. We had teams talking and all of their social networks and everything to before the bond issue, so that we could go through, because we were really fortunate that the bond issue went through so that this could be afforded. So really, really pleased about that.
The total fee for that project was just shy of $500,000 provided by the school district. The convincing part was really easy. I just brought those that make the decisions out to the courts and showed them how unsafe and how difficult of a surface it is for kids to be able to compete on. It was not safe, it was not competitive, and it was an easy sell once they saw how extensive the damage was.
With the new courts up and running, practices and matches will be forever changed.
We can compete more, we can extend it to so many more athletes. We've in the past sometimes cut for a variety of reasons, but when you only have 4 courts that were playable in primarily the spring and sometimes the fall, it makes it more difficult to have some boys on reserve. So now we can have a few more reserve boys and work those into the JV lineup.
When we're here for matches and we are hosting another team, we'll be able to use all the courts rather than just having to use a couple of the courts because the other ones have water all over them.
These courts will tangibly benefit the tennis players and coaches, but the benefits have also extended out to the broader community as well.
Do more drilling and competition within a practice. That really helps us out because they can put their game to the test even though they're running some drills and they're working on new skills, etc. We'll be able to have them compete as well. Initially it's kind of hard to say within one season, but certainly over the next few seasons we will be able to extend that to more athletes.
It's received rave reviews from the players and the community. A lot of our community members in the evening play on the courts, and I've received numerous emails and phone calls about how nice the facility is. If you have any interest in playing tennis, go out and take a look at the courts, knock the ball around a little bit, go find MJ or Coach Engel and see if the sport's for you and go out there and have a lot of fun.
Get out here, see a match. It'd be great to see you. Go Wildcats!
This has been Caysie Ashton with the Wildcat Report.
Tomorrow is your last day to purchase an activity card, and you can get those for $40 in the activities office.
Speaking of activities, it's time to go to Sports Corner with Taylor.
Hey there, Wildcats. This is Taylor Charlson with Sports Corner's review of the beginning of the fall sports season. Varsity softball girls are currently swinging in the season with a record of 3-2. Last game, they defeated Benson in a 14-1 blowout. Millard West demolished Millard North 12-3, while Millard South came on top over Papillion La Vista 7-6. Charlson won over Papillion La Vista South 2-0, and Omaha Marion defeated Millard North 4-0. With a narrow defeat, the Millard West varsity football team lost to the defending state champions Omaha North. They lost by 7 on a go-ahead last-minute touchdown by Tavion Seals. But Thomas Russell and Ben Stadola definitely had their heads in the game. Russell with a rushing touchdown and Stadola with an interception that was returned for a touchdown. In the final few minutes of the game, Preston Humphrey stepped up, this time catching a 31-yard touchdown pass. Unfortunately, the Mustangs were able to hold off the Wildcats. Fourth quarter charge winning 39-33. We also saw Lincoln Southwest defeat Lincoln Southeast on a 24-22 score. Crane Prep beating Omaha Westside 56-37, and finally Millard South defeating Omaha Papillion 44-20.
Dual enrollment forms are due today, so make sure you turn those into the guidance office.
The dual enrollment program is a great way to get ready for college. And speaking of college, I'm super excited that our pep rallies were brought back in time for our senior year.
Let's go to Milan and Kayla for the story.
Yep, that's right, Wildcats. Pep rallies are back. Due to a large student body last year, some Millard West students were devastated to find out they could no longer participate in the school tradition of pep rallies.
I was disappointed that my first year of high school I didn't experience having a pep rally.
For the pep rallies over pep parades because we get to actually perform our dance that we worked on instead of just walk around.
We did have a pep rally last year. It was the pep parade, if you recall, and we chose the pep parade last year due to the overabundance of, we just have a lot of kids in our building. We felt that the pep parade would be a good alternative to not having a pep rally.
Pep rally, I thought it was really fun, had a lot of energy. It was good that the schools coming together for once because we haven't had that in a while.
The pep rally this year was twofold. It was to energize the school community as well as to celebrate last year's award that our school had won for the Omaha World Herald Grand Champions Award for being the most outstanding athletic program in the state.
Millard West was recognized as the Class A All-Sport Champions for the second year in a row, even without winning any state titles. In addition to the sassy routines performed by the dance team and cheer squad, students smiled and shouted for a picture being taken by the Omaha World Herald. The All Sports Award gives 20 points for first place in football, volleyball, and basketball, with other points being awarded for other sports as well. Millard West scored 115 points compared to Lincoln Southwest, who received 113 points.
We lost a little something by not having a pep rally.
This has been Kayla Parker with the Wildcat Report.
I'm Holly Pirdie.
And I'm Alex Minton, and thank you for watching the Wildcat Report.